Well, so good afternoon. We're here at the FSK Dojo in the midst of the world gone a little crazy. We are going to look here today at our first segment from the Grappling division, and we'll see how it goes. I hope you will be tolerant with me, as this is the first time I have ever tried to teach and train a cell phone. Being as my age and antiquity does not lend well to this type of medium. Again, I hope you will be forgiving, but we'll try and give you some things in value to move along. Really would like to look at, many times people get here and they've seen me here for a little while and they joke about getting here before me. Good luck. Reason I get here early, I'm getting older. I need the time to warm up, loosen up, so that when you guys get on the floor, basically I can continue to move. So, instead of getting here early today and warming up, of which right now, due to the temperature, would be really good, you're going to warm up with me. I'm going to put you through some of my warm up at a slow basis that you can work on. Keep your bodies loose and even throughout this time, and then we'll move on. Later, we'll look at some technique and drills. It may not be all in this segment, but it will be up and coming. Again, thank you for your patience through this time. So for me, knees and back, hips are paramount, because those are the hardest things for me to open up. So I will start to stretch out when I get here. Start to open up the legs, things like that. So we will look at the basic stretches, basically from my warm-up. This basic stretches. Now again, to open up a stretch, please do not bounce. People will start stretching and bouncing. Don't bounce. Work into your stretch. If you feel you can go a little further, breathe into it. So if you feel you can go a little further, a little lower, and settle gently. Stretches really traditionally to be done well and held for a long time. This should be a minute and a half. We're not going to do that. It'll drive you crazy watching you do that. Change that. Altering the ankle position obviously stretches out a different series of muscles. But really, I'm trying to open up the flexors on the inside. Now, because I am a bit of an old school, I always like to punish my legs a little bit in just stance. Old school stance. Very low, very deep, and just hold. The idea was always keep those legs almost so you could set a cup of coffee on them. Because if you could stay here, you could definitely fight when you're up there. And I'll shift from traditional horse stance into a forward stance and sink. Sean, you ever remember doing these in the old days and somebody whacking you with a stick?
Never happened to those, Sensei.
A little bit lower, please. Whack! Ooh. From there, I usually go down, start to work on my breathing. Hopefully the snap, crack, and pop will not be recorded. Now this one I'm turning into the knee to open up. Afterwards, opposites. The wincing is real. And there's such a little light cardio. It's just an old bounce. Should be able to start working in this for almost any mode. Start working on your footwork. Open up your knees and hips. I like to start working on my footwork. Circling. Try and visualize, and this can be very difficult for people. If you can visualize an opponent, visualize something you're working on. If I'm circling, or grappling, jiu-jitsu, things like that, I'm looking from here down. I'm looking, thinking about a takedown, leg, double leg, and moving in that vein. From here, I usually always switch to jumping jacks. And then it becomes, start working on the core. Abs in all kinds of forms. Any martial art relies on core strength. And so, at this point, we move on to some of our core exercises, work on our abs. As you can see, I'm sitting here on a nice big cushy mat. Which does make certain things a little easier. I do not have this luxury at home anymore. Like you, I do have towels in my closet. So I'll take a couple towels, fold them up, put them under my butt and back, so basically the hardwood floor does not pound away on me. The days of doing that sort of stupidity are long since gone for me. If you wish to do them, have fun. Me, I'll take a softer surface. Now, obviously we can do endless crunches. It gets pretty boring. So we will change it up with different exercises that also are traditional drills that you should be practicing anyway. We're gonna start off with some crunches and we'll go from there. So, feet up, feet down, I really don't care. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. From here, obviously, I've talked to you guys in class, arms and legs should work together, like in crab. Some of these drills help work the core and help you work on things you should be working on. Certainly engaging the legs. So, from the back, again, my head's off the mat. This is not the position. Certainly, if you want to do it this way, it's better than nothing. Rather keep you up and engaged. The legs start to work. Okay? We look at windshield wipers. We look at inside-out circles. Karate people will recognize this. Inside-out kicks, inside-out knees. And we switch to outside in. Now, the reason obviously you should be practicing that is to control. Working inside and outside of the body, an opponent. It can also be worked a little bit more interestingly with your gi belt. And learning to control the surface, basically the body. Keeping that person under control in front of you. Looking under arms, into elbows, shoulders, whatever you need. Just keep pushing it. Not only am I working my feet, learning how to hook and control, I'm also still always engaging my core. Again, should be able to do all of that without hard motion. Should not have to be done. All core strength. Some of the other exercises we've already worked on in this round, working for your triangle. This should be worked on all the time. Very basic motion. You have an opponent in front of you. The gentleman who's filming this is considerably taller than I am. If he was in front of me, for me to capture him, I have to, as we call it, go get him. With the legs, to go get him can be difficult. You have to shoot. You have to work that body, the core. So we talk about a leg lift. You will see it is not here. I'm coming up off, so back into it. I'm still looking at our leg lift, predominantly used for triangle, but also for arm bars and just capturing the opponent. Again, just trying to demonstrate here, shooting the legs up. I'm coming up, not entirely on the shoulders, but very close to come up and get someone. After doing those, you should start to add rotation to go up and catch. Right? All of this is engaging the core at the same time, but it gets a little bit more interesting. From there, you start to look at your triangle. Straight on, triangle, triangle. With the rotation, should be done a lot. That should become muscle memory, motion, instinctive, okay? I do this all the time. I wish I was better at it, but it is what it is. Always keep it going. Should be one of those things to just hammer, okay? Forward roll, backward roll. Basic. Ball, nice ball, smooth. Should be no pounding, okay? I try to come out of it pretty smooth. Used to be smoother, still not too bad, okay? I do this on hard surface, only if you feel very comfortable with it. Otherwise, I would not recommend it, okay? But part of the reason becomes should be coming up ready for the opponent. I've been pushed back. I'm up. Hands are up. I'm in a position either to attack or defend. Always be good. But again, another exercise to help engage the core that adds a little bit more interest than watching me count 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, these are some of the warm-ups that I do to get started for you guys to come to class. Again, I space that out also. I like to use basically Muay Thai knees to get my legs and hips engaged. So anyone comes in early will see me pace back and forth. The fitness students have seen me doing this and often wonder what he's doing. So I will work. Knees. Again, same things I did on the ground, which I talked about, inside out. Outside in. Good friend of mine, Cosmo Alexander, and Keith Romo down in Florida, would call those slap knees, of which they very affectionately dragged me out on the floor to demonstrate one evening in front of a class and said, "We're going to be light." Well, they lied. The grunts were very audible. But anyway, working hips, okay, working the flexors, and get everything moving. So this will all start before any of you show up to get me moving. So, from there, I'm trying to devise things, and most of the time I have talked about things you can do without a partner that you can train on your own. Anything, obviously when you come to the dojo, you have the availability of bags and dummies and everything else. Many of us do not have that at home, including myself anymore. So I'm trying to put together a few things you definitely can work on at home with what you have. Okay? We have definitely talked Kimura. And Kimura is a big move. Is from top and bottom, but the basic grip is fundamental in many moves. Kimura is the opening one. It's, I don't want to say easy to teach, but it's one that you work on a lot. But once you have that motion, later on with various techniques, you will find it blends into a lot of things. If you have this down solid, it will move much quicker. So, how do we practice this? Well, here we go. I'm assuming, and I could be wrong, all of us probably have something like this at home. Please let me know if you do not, and I will try to come up with something else, but I think most of us do. So, here is our opponent. We do occasionally talk about jiu-jitsu and grappling, a person, an opponent being like a table. And to disrupt them, you need to disrupt the 4 points of contact. Either you have 4 points of contact or they have 4 points of contact. Usually whoever has the most contact has dominant position. But for the Kimura, we've seen controlling the wrist that has hit the ground from an opponent, coming up over their shoulder, threading through, locking, and bringing them down. Again, I'm not going to demonstrate this on another person because maybe you don't have another person. So, the chair, because the motion and technique should not be lost. Now, the chair does not exactly lend itself up to full guard. It's a little difficult. You can do it, you can try, it works. You can shoot the legs and get a full guard. If you see my legs are so short I can't connect. Well, okay, just barely. Full guard. Okay. You cannot really go for the Kimura with a full guard because your own butt is in the way. Grapevine or lock up. Okay? So I'm going to lock, just to lock the chair, which is now on this side, sorry, on this side. Can you? This has opened up my opponent's wrist. I've come up, blend it in. Boom, Kimura. Back down. Kimura. This should become, again, muscle memory. I've talked about this for at least the last couple of months. If you ever hear someone, boom, control. Easy way to practice. Easy way to practice. One leg is grapevine, capturing the chair. I've got the body controlled. Boom, Kimura. Okay? I've now switched sides. In, Kimura. In, Kimura. Is it perfect? No. Can you continue to develop the motion? Yes. Okay. The chair itself represents our opponent. So the last thing I want to look at here, because I think we're getting about to the end of this segment. One thing I definitely have probably harped on with you guys a lot, but is important, is in and out using your guards. One of them, which I've enjoyed the most, is the half guard. Okay? Now, it is very hard to get a half guard on an inanimate object. However, the motion is here. This represents your person in front of you. This represents in, each time, this arm's coming up to frame. This is protecting. On an opponent, you would come up under the neck to their shoulder, frame out and protect. In, out, in. Simple control, faster, faster, faster. Again, you should be able to move this quickly. A chair, especially on a wood surface, just easy practice. We've used the half guard, pushing out a person's leg, an opponent's leg, popping their balance. Okay, here, I've popped out that leg. I've controlled it and brought it back. Out, back, okay? Simple exercises. But, considering the length of time, we may or may not be out. And to be honest with you, I hope this is the only segment I have to record. Because again, I'm having difficulty teaching, well, what is now switched to an iPad. I'd rather work with live people, so would you. But, I will tell you this much. Come back to class. Don't practice. Sit on the couch, and if you come to my class, I'll be waiting. I hope to see you all very soon. Thank you very much. Bliss.